Okay, welcome everyone. This is Veni VDVG here again. I'm gonna bring you another match from the PK Clan TAD tournament. We have now entered the round of 32. In fact, there are one or two matches that still have to be played from the round of 64. But this is a match from the round of 32, which is actually what started today, first day of this round. We will have here a match between SNS Jack and Eric, Koning Erik. This is also a match, by the way, where you can bet on. If you're fast, you can probably still put in your bets. If there's one or two games played, I'm not sure if it will still count. Check out the pkclan.net forums if you want to place any bets. So this is going to be a BO5, best of 5. So the first one to win 3 games is gonna be the winner here. And the first map is going to be Great Plains, as you see here. The second map is going to be Saguenay, I believe. Third map, I'm not sure. Then we have New England, and then we have Yukon. I have to check that later. Anyway, back to this game. We have here Eric playing as French, as expected, of course. It's one of his best civilizations, and he doesn't play that many other civilizations either. And then you have SNS Jack as China. Same thing. He is very good with China. I'm not sure how many other civilizations he plays on a high level. We've seen that his Aztecs was pretty nice as well last time. So we also saw that his Chinese was very strong versus the game in the game versus Gungun. He somehow managed to still win that game, even though it looked like it was a lost game for him, fighting versus Abus guns, not having much map control, etc. So China versus French. Map looks balanced here. Mines are okay. He has one first hunt here, and SNS Jack has his first hunt over there. And later on, both can bring in additional hunts from the sides. So far, everyone picked up their basic first coin beavers around the town center. And then we have Eric having 70 XP, of course, always nice, because it will mean that he will get his 3 Coeur de Bois villages a little bit earlier. And of course, that slightly boosts your economy. And also your age job by a little bit, maybe. Depending on how long he has to wait for his 14th villager to age up. Anyway, we'll probably see them both trying to bring in the herd. Eric is already doing that now. You can see that he keeps shooting it towards his town center to get it close. And SNS Jack is probably going to do it a little bit later because he's China. And Chinese also age up a little bit slower than most other civilizations. It's actually the same thing with most Indian civilizations except for India. So you probably want to start herding as soon as you hit the age up button, or actually as soon as you start building the wonder. He is, however, already sending one villager over there. Let's see, he rescued, no, he didn't rescue it. So he's starting to bring in this hunt. It's interesting that he chooses this hunt instead of this one, because this was actually kind of a third hunt for Eric to take. But he's now bringing it already towards his town center, so that means that it's going to be hard for Eric to use it later on, if possible at all. Meanwhile, we have Eric still gathering food for the age up, but he is also already bringing in this hunt. I think that's quite fast, but on the other hand, you always want to make sure you bring your hunts back to your town center on time. I would prefer actually to just bring in this second one while you're aging, but anyway, he started to do it right now. 80 wood for Eric also, and 70 coin for SNS Jack. Of course, 80 wood is very nice for a French guy. You will also have to do the place mine upgrades, and you will have to do steel traps afterwards. So that means that he is able to get more other resources, and let's see what he can go for. For example, a stable into a fast fortress, which is a likely choice against China. Raid a little bit and then go for third age fights. Or he can go for some kind of weird rush, but it's not likely that he goes for an extra pike rush because China is very able to deal with that. Also, going for Musketeer Hussars is not the best option in my opinion, because China should be able to deal with it also. He might want to go for a little bit of pressure with Musketeers in case that China ships pikemen versus the raiding Hussars, but I would assume that Eric would go for a faster fortress, a relatively fast fortress himself anyway. There we see the invisible scout. You have the option with French. Except if you come too close into this town center range, then it will be discovered. Or if it comes in range of a hero. SNS Jack is aging with the Summer Palace. That means that he will get free units every now and then. and he will also have 400 food. And thank you, lazy guy, for pointing it out to me. I previously said it was 500 food, but that was wrong. It is 400 food that you get free when you age up, and it will allow you to go fast to the third age because you don't have to gather this food, and then you can just ship 700 coin, which is very standard, and afterwards probably 700 wood to get up another house, a barracks, and a consulate. There we have Eric aging up, sorry, SNS Jack aging up. Eric already aged, going for a stable first. And not for a Rex. If he would have gone for this, oh, he is going for the Rex. Okay, well, interesting. Like I said, maybe he wants to go for a little bit of Musketeer and Hussar pressure. The Musketeers would be able to better deal with some pikemen in case the Chinese is gonna pop them out to protect from Hussar raids. On the other hand, I think it's not the best choice to go for fully for mass Hussars and pikemen strategy. But we'll have to see how this will play out. Of course, Eric does this a lot, so he just is probably very comfortable doing this. Scout was attacked here a little bit, but he's able to escape. And then he's going to use his hero probably to try to fight this off. But of course it's not a battle he can win, so he shouldn't. We see the 8 pikeman shipment that's actually very fast. It's probably the first shipment from SNS Jack. He didn't scout this yet, but he is of course expecting some kind of Hussar raid. And there we see that he barely misses it, but he might go for this XP treasure. There you have 3 musketeers popping out. Of course now he has nothing to protect for his musketeers. But there we have the first units coming out. He is going for a Rex, so he's not going for a fast age up, fast fortress. I'm not sure if he did it, careful over there, I'm not sure if he did it because he wanted to go for this treasure, that he wanted to make some units, or because he just want to go for a longer H2 fight versus the French. But if the Chinese guy can micro very well, of course you can use your range from a Chukanus. These are like bowmen, and you have your pike in the back to protect versus cavalry. A weakness, well, an advantage of the Chinese guys is that they always get like this 2-unit combination out, and that's always very nice, especially because Chukanus are very good units. On the other hand, that also means they are dependent on this combination, because they can't just train pikemen or Chukanus. They have to always make a batch of both. And that means that if at some point you really are able to kill a lot of anti-cavalry from the Chinese guy, you will also probably be able to charge him with a lot of cavalry, because he is not able to get enough anti-cavalry out fast. Of course, China still has some shipments like 8 cavalry as he used, and he can use some consulate stuff later on. But it is an advantage for China in a way, but it can also be a disadvantage in some cases. So Eric went for the 700 wood, and afterwards probably shipped the 4 villagers, yes. And China did, not sure, I didn't catch what he said. Anyway, oh, 700 coins, so he is going for a job with just some units to be able to hold off any slight raids. And there we see that Eric is not going to pick up this treasure. I would have liked to see him just shoot this down and get this 210 XP. Anyway, he was raiding still, and also raiding on this side, but you see that SNS Jack is doing a very good job, not only hurling this towards his town center, he has it pretty close. Could even be a little bit more closer, but okay. But also protecting his villages very well, except for now, because there are 2 villages are going down, and that is 3 villages, but there's definitely 2 more going down. That's like 5 total, and that is very, very unfortunate. I'm not sure why I didn't just pull them back and move them towards the other end, because 5 villages down so early in the game, that is quite huge. I think it was 5, maybe 1 popped out from a town center, not sure. Anyway, he is aging up. Well, if he just doesn't block his own wonder, that is. There we go. He is now not yet. Yes, he is building the wonder with quite a lot of villages, so he definitely wants to get his age up fast. Of course, there are some discussions about how many villages you task on a wonder. Usually, I think 4 or 5 is best if you want to go fast. It's not like 6, 7, 8 is gonna make it that much faster. There we see Eric scout the wonder, so he knows that he should be pushing a little bit, try to do some damage. The micro is not the best at the moment for SNS Jack, including with his villagers and also with his pikemen. They're a little bit loose in front here. His Chukanu are definitely able to kite a lot for these musketeers, as you see him doing there right now. Also using some town center fire to help out here. And you see that he's using the range as best as he can to shoot, run back, shoot, run back. On the other hand, Eric is also doing a very good job by just keep going close for the last 10-20 seconds to shoot and keep moving in, so that you can always stay in range of a Chukonus, because if you are in range, the 23 damage of Musketeer is still quite okay. It's not like it's that bad. Chukonu have low HP. I think he kind of forgot to keep hurting this hunt over there. And there we see that he's still charging in. This is kind of the strategy that he does a lot of times, going for a lot of Hussars and Musketeers, so maybe it was expected after all. I'm not sure if he decided to stay on this course because he saw the Wonder, or that he just likes this strategy a lot. Oftentimes you also see that the French is trying to age up to get access to third age units like Skirmish Dragoon versus China, and of course the 2 cannon shipment. Anyway, seizing the Wonder here, that's not something you want to do, because you can't seize this Wonder unless you have a very big army. Town Center Fire I would like to see being used on the Hussars. I'm not sure where it's used on at the moment. I believe he's not targeting the Musketeers, so he might be focus firing Hussars over there. I think he is, yes. And keep in mind, okay, he is resigning there, good game. When he ages up, he will also have 10 arquebusiers popping out, but because of these Hussars, it means that they will probably just die instantly, because he doesn't have any anti-cavalry available. Also no consulate. Interesting how this plays out. After all, it's probably the right choice from Eric to just take colonial age and mass a lot of units. I'm not sure if he altered this decision based on the Wonder that he saw. And of course the bad food, because I'm not sure how he heard of this, but he should definitely have been more close towards his town center or a house. On the other hand, I'm not sure why China would go for a strategy like this, because basically you make these units, it's kind of a waste, because if the French, he didn't scout that well in the first place, by the way. He didn't really scout what the French was doing, because if you see that the French is going for a Rex in the stable, he is able to produce a lot, even if he still ages up after it. So the units that you make here are not that useful if the French decides to go for a lot of H2 units, and then it might have been better to just age up faster and perhaps only use like a few pikemen or 8 pikemen shipment to defend of some raids. Anyway, first game won by Eric, 1-0. Second game is gonna be on Saguenay. So the correct order is Saguenay, Siberia. Oh yeah, okay, of course Siberia is the same one as before. Siberia third map, New England fourth map, and Yukon is the last map. So I'm just waiting for an invite here for the second game. Of course, Eric won with French, but being it a European civilization, not considered one of the strongest. It is a strong civilization, but not like one of the top 3 strongest. You can use it again, even if you win with it. And of course, since Esnek Jack lost, sorry, with his China, he can of course use it again also, which he might will very well do so, because it's one of his best civilizations, I believe. About last game, this standard Rex stable stuff from French, it is very strong, and you can just pressure with it a lot. If you see that he's bad hurts like he had last game, you can pressure more because you know that you can keep him off food. That's also probably why SNS Jack still decided to age. Maybe he wanted to go for longer H2 fight, I'm not sure about that. Then he could definitely have done a better job, I think, even though it's still hard for his French. But then if you have good micro, you can be okay. On the other hand, the French can just easily make some more Musketeers and Hussars, and as soon as you age with that Wonder, which he can see, he can make some more Hussars and make sure that he's parking next to your town center, so any arquebusiers popping out from your age up will just be killed off instantly. Also, in the back of that, he can still age up himself by shipping 700 coin and going quite fast to the third age, while having just some units, so it's a relatively easy option for the French to deal with this. Which is also why, in my opinion, you should probably pressure the French early on. For example, like Iroquois has the option to do so, or even Aztecs. putting the French a little bit under pressure early on, maybe sieging a house and stuff like that will definitely do some damage. And if you let the French just going for a long time, and if you're another civilization that can boom very well, for example, British can boom versus it, but if you let the French go his easy way, then it's just relatively easy for the French to just do whatever he wants, make some units, raid you a little bit, and then even go third age up. Um, I'm actually still waiting because I believe that SNSJack fails to join. Okay guys, I'm still live here. Just quiet for a moment. We were trying to fix these issues here. It seems that they both have some router issues and we're not able to connect to each other. Anyway, it's fixed now, at least for the moment. So we have the second game coming up between Eric, König Erik, and for you guys, by the way, I don't know this German. König is German word for king, so he's referring to himself as King Eric. Let's see if he can make his words come through. He is playing as Nesjack. It's going to be the same matchup. It looks like French versus China, and now we have the map Saguenay, at which Nesjack was last time able to do a very good job versus Gungun and had a nice comeback. So let's see what he can make of it this time.
Are you ready?
I named the maps before, the 5 maps that are optional for this this BO5, but of course if it is a 3-0 victory, then you don't have to play the 4th and the 5th map. It's only a just in case scenario. So there we go, Saguenay. Interesting. We see here that on Saguenay, as we know all by now, you can start with one free building, and that can be a it can be a plantation, a market, or a livestock pen. But because the Chinese guys don't have a livestock pen as we have in Europe, they have a house for free, and the goats can be and the sheep can be tasked to the house, which also functions as a livestock pen. So we have as Nesjack starting with a free house over here. And of course he has the wood from the age up, no, not from the age up, sorry, from crates, making the normal first house, so to say. And then he is probably gonna get the extra wood to make a third house, which would normally be a second house. So he will now be able to get one additional villager. That is 4 villagers instead of just 3 normally. A little bit of an advantage for him, but then again he chooses China on this map. Everyone can do so. So nothing too big also, I think. In my opinion, 155 food treasure or something for a civilization like Ottomans or Iroquois is worse than this. So, with regards to the map, one gold mine here, gold mine there. This all seems pretty okay-ish. Eric does have this one a little bit further, but he has one still in the back here, if he scouts it well. Always keep in mind, by the way, this map sometimes has a little bit of issues. For example, we see, as we saw last time, when a trading post is over here, it often bugs one of the mines that should be on top, or it also bugs some trees. We see that this whole part here has no trees, while Eric here has a lot of trees. So that's a little bit of an advantage for him later on. On the other hand, we have the Chinese guy often using a lot of trees, for example, because it's China, and Eric is not the guy that needs a lot of trees as French, so it's more of a bigger deal for China that he doesn't have trees than that Eric does have all these trees, I think. So for the Huns, that is let me quickly check this. Sorry guys, I have to quickly confirm something here with my thoughts. So just to explain that to Shimras, because Ottomans and the TAD and TWC civilizations are considered a little bit stronger, the rule applies to them that they can't play these civilizations twice in a row if they win with it. Personally, I don't think that Aztecs or China should be included in that, but anyway, that's how it is. So for the standard Euro civilizations, everyone except Ottomans, you can just play it 5 times in a row if you want to. That was something Shimros was thinking about. We see, by the way, I was talking about the map balance, that as Nesjak is also lacking 1 herd here on top, which is like this herd for Eric. So, but then again, he has 2 here. Well, it's relatively. Saganai sometimes has these shit maps just that you can't do much about it. But anyway, he can herd this one towards his town center. He can also build a house, of course, here. And like I also mentioned several times before, there's also some randomness here. You just have to deal with it, and then you just have to play more according to the map. It just means that you have to, for example, be more aggressive. Make your base over here, for example, go for water, go for a faster third age, and use your better units then, something like that. Anyway, Eric found here 7 sheep. The 7th one should be tasked here, because they'll of course fatten faster and then give you a lot of food later on. You see it's already now 4:40 in the game, and this sheep is only 75 food away from being fully fattened and worth 300 food. There we have Summer Palace, standard again, the 3 houses as mentioned before. And we will probably see a fast fortress from him coming up. I would be really surprised if he's going for a Rex in 2nd age again. He's gonna pick up a Tomahawk here while he rescued one before. Sorry that I missed this, I had to check something in the tournament rules. Just to get a quick look, we see Esdezek had 90 food, always very nice for China to age up a little bit earlier. And Eric doesn't have that much actually. What has Eric been doing? What has he been doing? Yeah, he probably has been scouting and maybe attacking the other hero a little bit, but I missed this game. 700 coin here for China. That means that he's indeed going for the fast fortress. Eric again, no matter what map, no matter what opponent, he seems to be starting off with the same build over and over again. He has to be thinking about it a little bit more perhaps, because in this situation it is probably better for him to start off with just 1 stable, wait a little bit and just age up, and then go into a Rex, for example. You can age up faster, you have access to the 3rd age shipments. Also, you don't need to go for this right away, and if you send 4 villages first, you have the better economy. The 700 wood build, while it is very popular and of course very strong, it is a little bit a sacrifice of your economy. So you might want to change up the card order in that case. Anyway, we have 4 hussars here going out for a raid. Scout is of course put in the invisible mode again, and there we have this scout probably saw this villager passing him, and that's why Eric, before you guys are accusing him of stream cheating, I think this villager went like this path over here. So Eric saw it with the invisible scout, and that means that he knows he should catch it with his raiding hussars. The little force here of disciples, tomahawks and sheeps is returning home, and there we have the wonder. And there we have the market and the consulate, all pretty standard. This villager barely gonna get saved. One more thing, by the way, regarding the livestock pen for Chinese, which is just the house, the village. It can task less sheep on it, if I'm correct. So, for example, this livestock pen can task 10 sheep, and these can task, I think, 5 or 6 or something. Anyway, Eric tries to do what he can. Of course, you can hide villagers in your Chinese villages. However, they will only be there to be hidden from any raids, but they won't do any damage like they do, for example, if they're hiding in a town center. I think behind this, Eric will also just age up. He's not making any more hussars. He just made this this Rex for a good setup for the 3rd age. He doesn't add a 2nd Rex nor houses, so I'm not sure if he might go for a trading post a little bit later on, or that he just did, for example, the 2nd gold upgrade in the market to get a really strong economy going. Also, we see that now these sheep are fattened. That is like 6-7 sheep times 300, so it's about 2k food that he has over there, just by good scouting, and of course the advantage with the French scout that he has, and tasking the sheep on a livestock pen that you get for free here. Rex going up for China, needs to make units, of course, in the 3rd age. No villager HP yet, but that's I think okay, because it just aged fast and he's able to hold off for now. 10 arquebusiers from the age up. from the Confusion Academy, which can later on make some Chinese cannons, the rocket. There we have a split up from him, probably gonna go for double raid from top and from bottom later on. And this village, I would have liked to see it a little bit, for example, here. Then it would also protect the gold mine. It's still out of range in the town center, but it will also better protect this food over here. Eric not aging yet. There we have the second Rex coming up. So, and he did make. No, he didn't make any more hussars. He then probably went for the 4 villagers, and then he's probably gonna go for an age up indeed with maybe just, let me see. He didn't send 700 coin, that's why he's a little bit later. He went for the 700 wood and then 4 villagers, and he just gathered every coin, all the coin to age up, because he probably used more of this easily to gather food from the sheeps, which you can gather quite fast by the way, to age up, and now he has 1 shipment available in the 3rd age because he didn't use his 700 coin. It's debatable thing, but I think in this case it's a good choice. So we had one more raid here, sorry that I missed this, and another raid that's gonna probably be catch later on, because later on. This one was killed, and I believe that it didn't do that much damage. Back here, Chinese pushing in a little bit, probably gonna take out this market. Oh, we see it now, by the way, he has 2 Rexes set up, so of course very nice to train skirmishers from 2 Rexes, and I believe that for indeed that he shipped 8 skirmisher shipment. That's the one he saved from early on, and now he has a nice skirmisher force here to deal with the Chinese army. But nice raid going on there. And there we have the dragoons popping out as protection for these skirmishers. Not sure why his army is so far out on the map, so far alone, and also so far out, but maybe trying to protect this for some case. Anyway, he's making a house here. I'm not sure why you make a house there. If you would make your house, for example here, you have line of sight if there's a raid coming in. If you make it right next to the gold mine, it doesn't help you much, then it can only be destroyed later on. We see that he's trying to target the cavalry first because he knows that he doesn't have enough dragoons to be able to deal with it. So in that case you want to use everything you have to take out the cavalry first, so that your skirmishers will live as long as possible. Meanwhile, of course, there's Nasjack charging in and trying to focus down the dragoons because they will kill his cavalry faster. Quite strong cavalry, by the way, but he managed to take it out. On the other hand, he loses like every skirmisher. Eric did this, and that was definitely not a good trade for him. As I said, I'm not sure why he's out that far on the map. You definitely need a lot more dragoons to be able to start a fight with the Chinese. He probably hasn't scouted this gold mine yet. It's so important to scout the whole map, especially the top part in Saganai, as I told before, because now he doesn't know where he should gather his gold, and he's trying to get on this mine, kind of desperately trying to protect this mine. That was probably why his army was over there. And now he has no access to any gold, and that's going to be very hard position for him. You see, he's going to use his villagers. He didn't upgrade the villager HP yet. That's probably something he forgets. He usually does it. Every French does it. Anyway, he is going to use his villagers for now, and that's okay for a little bit. He should be able to deal with this force here. But we have a lot of cavalry here available, and there we have the real forces charging in to siege down any stables. Eric definitely needs some more skirmishes, and I would also like to see some cuirassiers here. It's usually very nice to deal with China units because they have so much HP, the cuirassiers, that you can just charge in and use them very well if you micro well. And of course, if they finally do damage, they do very good damage because of their area. Eric calling good game there. Yeah, I think this was well played by Nasjack, but also it was indeed that he didn't see this gold mine on top, and he was probably too far out on the map. I think if he would have stayed here with his army, wait for 5 more dragoons to pop out, also having the option to use your villages in the fight to block the cavalry, then he would definitely have come out a lot better of this fight, instead of fighting over here for no reason, being too far out and not protecting anything over there anyway. We sometimes see that French players, but also other players in the Third Age, are trying to use your skirmisher range optimally, or at least try to use it optimally, because you have 20 range and you try to pick off any units, but then we sometimes see that people getting caught, getting trapped, because there's a lot of cavalry coming from a flank, or just from one way from your opponent, and you get overwhelmed and outmassed, and then you just can't pull back on time like we see over here, and then you lose like almost every unit. So you always have to be very careful with that. So that makes it even. It's now a 1-1. One game each. So the next map is going to be Siberia. And now it seems that I am unable to connect, and I have never had that before. So that's interesting. When we are all trying to connect at the same time, that can sometimes prove to be an issue. So let me just wait here for a moment when they're all in.
User entered your channel.
Okay, apparently we have some more connection issues. Probably a little bit expected here. So let me see what's going up in chat here. SNS can play Aztecs as well, but yeah, as Gaia says, versus French also it is a hard matchup. Though I won't say that it's too much French favorite. I think it's for French also very hard to deal with Aztecs. It depends also on the map a little bit how much access you have to resources. Okay, it seems that we finally managed to get everyone in the game.
Yes.
So we have currently 1-1 Eric versus SNS Jack. So, apart from all the McDonald's and food and whatever chats, we were playing Age of Empires 3 here, the Asian Dynasties, the PK Clan TAD tournament, first TAD tournament, $2,500 almost in prize pool. This is between König Erik and SNS Jack. Third game on Siberia, currently 1-1 each. Waiting for Shimros to ready up, and then we can see how this will play out. So far it's been quite close. I think a little bit of a missed decision by SNS Jack first game, and the second game Eric also had the missed decision by being out too far on the map in my opinion, and also not scouting the best, even though you have 2 scouts as French. He didn't scout his top part and therefore he missed 1 gold mine on that side. I missed the civilization, by the way. Eric is probably French. Yes, French versus Japanese. SNS Jack is gonna play Japanese. Of course, being Japanese, you can also play Japanese. On the other hand, most can play Japanese. They are not as strong as they used to be, as in OP, but they are still definitely one of the strongest civilizations around, because they are still some of the basics of the Japanese civilization. Very strong units. Ashigarus are very fast as well, also nice to raid later on. A lot of HP, kind of like the Sepoy still, and Janissary still quite easily capable of dealing with a few skirmishers. And of course you have all the shrines, you can place them near hunts, you get a lot of economy by that, and it's always hard to raid the Japanese guy because they gather from the gold mines which are close, and they gather from their how is it called again, cherry orchards, which also are close towards any town center or tower. So a good economy civilization is like the British civilization, but then for Asian expansion. But Eric's gonna play French, so what can French do here? It is definitely gonna be a very hard matchup for him, especially on this map. I think he has roughly 2 options, but of course some small variations perhaps. The first option is to go for a crossbow pikeman rush. It's often very good for Japanese. You need to damage them early on, because if you just let them boom, same like British, they will just get a very good economy, and then it's very hard to deal with them. And the second option is going for a few raids with musketeers, and then going for a fast fortress, or semi-fast fortress in fact, adding cannons and protecting your cannons with musketeers, so then you have cannon musketeer force to deal with any cavalry that's gonna come up, and any Ashigarus and Yumis from the Japanese. So Ashigarus are the musketeers, Naginata riders are their cavalry, and Yumi archers are their skirmisher bow kind of unit, the anti musketeer unit, so to say, anti musketeer, anti goon, etc. Marker start for French standard, being able to age up with 14 villages, but having the better economy still. And there we see that Eric probably scouted this and was probably waiting for it. There we go. And now trying to steal this treasure from the Japan guy. Of course, Japan has 2 heroes, but he was too late. So I was about to say that he can kill the treasure with 1 hero and use the other one, just like Eric, to wait for it and click on it on the right time. But he missed it. And there we saw some scouting with cherry orchard. Normally Japanese civilization gets 2 cherry orchards. They can't gather from hunts, obviously. But if you start with berries, such as on Siberia or for example New England, you only get 1 cherry orchard. And it is a travaux, like the Iroquois travaux. You can use it to scout around the map and convert it later into a cherry orchard like he does now. 5k food it has, that's quite a lot. But of course it gets a little bit slower than the food does for other civilizations. But then again, the advantage is that you don't have to walk all the way around, you don't have to herd. So all in all, it still is a little bit slower, but it's not that much slower as you would think it is, because it's berries. And of course, when you do a market later on as Japanese, you can increase the better berry gathering rate. I believe, actually I'm quite sure that the first market upgrade for them, yeah indeed, yeah, that must have been because they can't gather food. So the first food market upgrade for them boosts their berry gathering, and that's why of course it's so strong as well. So, apart from that 80 food being stolen by Eric, we see that as Nasdaq picked up a small 40 wood there and 50 wood in the start. There's actually one shrine, so that's altogether very nice. Actually, where did he make his shrine? The shrines are the houses for the Japanese civilization, and they needed to generate resources, but they also needed for population. But he didn't make any shrines. So then he is aging with 10 villagers. No, he's not. Okay, the quest for the Japanese shrine. It should be, there it is. It should be a purple dot. It's hard to see on the map. It's almost the same color as the deers. Anyway, there you made this shrine. As you see here, 4 deers tasked on it. That's the maximum. And then you get a 0.43, in this case wood. It differs if you get food or gold from it per second, and that's quite nice. Of course, you can make 20 on these on this patch. 20 of these houses. Provide population and income. There we have an 8 job that is probably going to be the big shrine, which is called the Toshuga shrine or something like that. It is a big shrine, so it will have a lot better income than these small shrines, so it's actually just an extra economic boost. There we have more shrines coming up. Basically for Japanese, what you try to do here is defend at first, making up shrines everywhere on the map, when there's food available, of course, because then you get the most reward from it. Maybe I can spot it you here. For example, you see there's 0.36 when he had 3 animals tested on it, and now when he has 4 animals it switches to 0.43. So the more animals you get on it with a maximum of 4, the more income you have from this. Also, the 8 job with the consulate is pretty standard. You get the wood from it, you get a little bit in the start. I didn't cover that at first. You can make a consulate, you can ally with the Portuguese. That means that you get cheaper buildings, and you can also get a discount on your 8 job and some other stuff. So you get you can do 8 job for 680 food, I believe, instead of just 800. And it's definitely very nice benefit from Japanese, as they also, of course, age relatively slow as the as Chinese as well. So basically, he wants to defend, make a lot of houses. Also, if you can, you wanna make these shrines near the hunts of your opponent, because once these hunts are on your shrines, as you see over here, the other guy can't kill these hunts, can't eat them before he kills your shrine. And that's of course 1600 HP, so that will take a little bit of time. So far the basic introduction for Japanese. I think it's the first time we had the civilization, that's why I wanted to go over it a little bit for you guys, especially you guys from Nilla, not knowing that much about the civilization. We have the, as expected, Expo Pike Rush, although the barracks are pretty far back, a little bit too far back in my opinion. It will take a lot of time to walk all the way over there, also if you need reinforcements. Anyway, first 8 pikemans, that is interesting. We see often people going for 8 crossbowmen first or 10 crossbowmen to be able to harass the villagers, while then massing pikemen to siege down stuff like the consulate or shrines. Keep in mind, consulate 3500 HP is a lot, it will take a lot of time to get it down. Market, for example, will be a lot faster. Anyway, 600 wood shipped for the Japanese, that's standard. That just means that you will be able to boom your shrines more. He's also now going to grab on 75 coin, and he made 2 more shrines over there. He had a Rex start, and of course the big shrine that I already covered how he aged up. You see that it's gathering 1 food per second, and that is a lot. Anyway, making some musketeers as a standard defense. I assume that he would probably switch to Yumis when he sees his crossbowman pike rush. Of course, as a Japanese guy, you're always easy to switch up your resources, because you can just task these shrines on food, good, or wood, whatever you want. Whatever you need, you can switch it, and it takes like a few seconds to switch it. So, consulate went down, market went down. He's not trying to poke in with these crossbowmen. I would like to see him just poke in, try to kill off a villager, snipe off a musketeer, whatever you can. Use your 16 range that you have, 16 range compared to the 12 range of a musketeer. And just go back to your pikemen if you need safety from any cavalry, but of course we don't have cavalry at the moment. So we then have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 Ashigarus, and they are quite strong, as you see here, 24 attack, 170 HP. So if these guys come in range of crossbowmen, they are doing actually a pretty good job. The thing is just that crossbowmen, of course, if microed well, can use their range, and of course have bonus damage versus heavy infantry, so they have it is still the counter. What we see here is that SNSJack is not going for a defense versus this silly force, which is actually really silly because I don't know what Eric is doing over there. But instead he is going for a musketeer raid. He has 9 total. Eric, I think he plays this wrong. What he does here is doing some damage with the crossman pike rush, but I believe that if you go for this, you also sacrifice some economy in a way that you should actually just go for it longer, really go for it. That means not shipping 700 coins so fast, because he's probably trying to age up now, but mass some more of these units and take down, for example, the big shrine, take down the barracks, maybe even some shrines in the corner, and harass with your crossbowmen. If you have a huge group of crossbowmen, like 15-20, you can easily poke here around this town center and shoot these villagers and prevent him from gathering. And now we see that he has a really tiny force. The problem is that SNSJack is still making shrines everywhere around the map, as Japan is supposed to do. Also here on Eric's side of the map, which is a problem for him because Eric has to deal with it later on. And then you see that he's now also adding a stable, so as soon as he gets like 4 or 5 more cavalry out, he can just push on Eric and destroy this whole army here. And then also Eric will age up, but then you are third age and you just wasted some of your economy, and you also wasted your units because you have weak units of the second age. And what do you do with that? Are you going to upgrade them? No, probably not worth it, so you're going to let them like this, and then it's also not really worth it. Also, the reason why crossbowman pike rush is strong is because you have a lot of units fast and early, and the Japanese won't. But if the Japanese is able to mass cavalry in Ashigawa, he's completely gonna destroy your army, because it's just a joke for him. These crossbowmen are way too weak, the Japanese units. Anyway, he aged up, as you see there. We had still some raids going on. He spots it on time here. Villager HP this game finally. And not finally, but glad to see it. And there he is probably gonna go back, I'm not sure. But now Eric has these units here. You can still ship cannons and make some musketeers, for example, but he doesn't have a stable. He is going for artillery foundry. I do like that, because you need, I think, well, need is a big word, but I think you definitely it's a good chance to go for cannons versus Japan. But there we have, by the way, 8 crossbowmen popping out from the consulate. He's still allied with the Japanese, so he has cheaper buildings, so he can pump out shrines everywhere around the map. And there you have some additional units, because you get an export from your villages. They generate export as long as they are working, not in the town center. And he's now just massing some more units and adding some cavalry as well. Meanwhile, he probably shrined the whole map by now. As you see here, everywhere on foot there are shrines. I believe this is what he doesn't, which he hadn't shrined yet, but we see there that's another shrine coming up shortly. And then he's probably soon also at his max, I believe. We see now 19 buildings. Okay, so we have to take up for 1, 2, 3, 4 other buildings, so he has around 16, 17 shrines, but he's gonna build 1 more here, 1 more there. So if he adds 1 or 2 more, then he's already at the maximum amount of shrines, and then he also is like very well set up for a very good economy for the longer game. So Eric, back to Eric here. We see that he has made a stable. No, not yet. He just made he shipped 5 dragoons, and he should definitely take out this shrine, by the way. He did not upgrade his longbowmen, not his pikemen, of course. And there we have 2 cannons. I believe these 2 cannons were made from the artillery foundry, gathering a lot of gold there. He's probably going to make more cannons, and then he has, of course, the option to even ship his 2 cannons and also to ship more dragoons, because he doesn't have a stable yet. However, I think it's you can make more skirmishers or musketeers and ship dragoons, or you can just make musketeers and then you have enough anti-cavalry as well. He definitely needs some more anti-cavalry before he's really gonna be able to push out on the map, that's for sure. So there we have this shrine being built over here, this shrine being built over there, and the second one. So when this is finished, I will check the stats again. Meanwhile, Eric is gonna push out here. That shrine is finished, so let me quickly check it before any battle is gonna come up. Buildings, we have now, that is 25 or 26, probably 25 buildings, minus 1, 2, 3, 4, so we have 21 shrines. No, that's not correct. I probably miscounted something. You can make 20 shrines. 2, 3, 4, Maybe the towers count as building a town center as well. Anyway, he is now at his max shrines. That was my point here. We see that the cannons are now going to be attacking villages. I think that's not a good idea. You should probably go for the town center right away, or any units that you have there. And this is very unfortunate for Eric. He went out too fast. Musketeers not upgraded. The cavalry is really... Okay, finally goes around. We see that he's gonna go around now to attack the cannons. He also popped out Minutemen. There's a lot of musketeers in the back. Even these musketeers in such a big mess are able to deal with cannons, as you see here. They're gonna be picked off very fast. Also, these cannons from the Japanese guy, take a look at it. 28 damage times 1.5 versus infantry like crossbowmen. A little bit less if you take heavy infantry into account, because they have negative bonus damage versus that. But anyway, they do very well versus skirmishers and crossbowmen. He now upgraded his musketeers. If he would have waited with these 10 new musketeers coming up, and before he had them upgrade and would then fight over it, would have been a whole different story. He would probably still lose his cannons, but he would definitely kill a lot more from this Japanese guy. He's trying to do a good job using the range of his skirmishers and crossbowmen versus these musketeers, and meanwhile we have the cavalry being used here for some raids by a Japanese guy. But it's still not over yet. Look at the scores, are very similar. Eric does have the option to make more cannons. I believe he can still ship his 2 cannons as well, because he made them. And there we have 1 more barracks, 3 more barracks. That is actually interesting. You often see that at some point, like actually at this point in the game, that the Japanese player has made all his shrines, all his buildings. Then he's gonna switch his consulate from Portuguese to Japanese. That will increase his attack from every unit. Let me think about it for a second. Or HP. I think attack. I think it increases attack. I have to check it. I have to confirm it later. Or HP. Actually, I have to. I think it is. Well, anyway, it increases either attack or HP. It makes your units a lot stronger. And you also have the options available to get 1 free Travar from it, which can be converted into a stable or a barracks. So then you don't have to make it. And also you have the upgrade that will make you able to train units 10 at a time instead of 5. So if you then have 2 Rexes, you can in fact train 20 units at a time. So then I'm not sure why you would add a 3rd Rex. I would rather do a market upgrade or make a castle somewhere on the map or whatever. I do expect, however, that the Japanese will age up anytime soon. I would at least, because at this point you lose some shrines, that's okay. But you have a very good army, and if you are able to upgrade this into the 3rd age and also use your own cannons, for example, it will be so much stronger. So I would definitely like to see him age up. Of course, you can change your shrines to food, to wood, whatever, and there we have the wonder, by the way, so there is aging up. You can change the food to gold, whatever you need fast to age up, you can just change it to. That's of course a very great advantage of a Japanese civilization. So he's gonna age up, then I assume he... Just hold on a second. My neck still hurts a little bit from the karting experience yesterday. Anyway, I assume that he will just wait and not fight before aged up, because if you fight before it would be rather silly. Because if you wait when you age up, you can upgrade your units and they will do a lot better. So it's not worth wasting them before that time, unless you have no other choice and have to defend your villages or your base, for example. So Eric shipped 2 cannons, or these were 2 cannons shipped, not sure. I'm actually pretty sure that he shipped 2 and made 2. Which of these were shipped and made, that's another story. So he has destroyed some shrines here. That means not only do you hurt the Japanese economy by a little bit, also of course you're now able to use this food yourself to gather from it. That means that we should see some Japanese shrines going up on the map somewhere, because he just lost 2. I'm not sure if he's doing so. Anyway, fort coming up here by Eric, there we see it. 4 cannons and musketeers. This is actually a very nice push. I think that the Japanese guy will use his cannon shipment as well, because the cannons that you see over here, these 2, they are not the best versus infantry, but they are very good versus other cannons. And also they have 2 more range than standard European cannons, so if I code correctly, they can definitely do a lot of damage here. Also, he doesn't have a castle yet, so he's not able to make more. He has then 2 options. Make a lot more units, because Japanese units are just so strong at some point that you can just charge in here and just kill off these cannons and the other units. But he has not many Yumis, while Eric has a nice mass of, as you see here, skirmishers and musketeers. Oh, he doesn't have that many musketeers. That's surprising. That's actually a mistake here, because if he's then able to mass some more cavalry, the Japanese guy that is, that he can just charge in here and kill either skirmisher or cannons. They're gonna have a lot of fun here. We see a little bit of a raid coming in here, but he's gonna lose his cavalry to the dragoons there. Anyway, any delay that you can do now, that you can get off, is very nice for Japanese, because he just needs some time. And now he's pushing out, very nice. You see, he upgraded his musketeers, and now we have 204 HP musketeers with a 37 attack. He has not changed the consulate yet, but he's about to change it, I think, to Japanese. And there we have him taking down this fort, but he might not quite get it, because there we have Eric's army coming in here. Cannons, yeah, he will get it. Just this siege attack, 28 siege attack, compared to a musketeer from the European civilization there. 4 more siege attack. Just one more range attack, but about 30 more HP, so really strong units. Still not did the consulate. If you would do the consulate, then it would definitely, yeah, I think now for sure that it is attack, not HP. So then he would do like 39 in damage or something. Anyway, the fort was lost by Eric, including 1 cannon. And he has not that much attack. Oh wait, he now has more dragoons, so then he should be okay. There we have 2 cannons popping up from the shipment, from the cart. And he's probably now trying to come from 2 sides, mixing with some Yumis as well. Very nice, of course, because you have to deal with skirmishers as well. Skirmishers do good for his musketeers, but not that good for his Yumis. So you will be able to hold off longer. Also, he's mixing in some Yabusams. They can be described as the Japanese dragoons. And also very good for his cannons, you see over here. He was tasking these cannons on the cannons of Eric. He managed to kill 1 and take out this HP by a lot. Also, the Yabusami's 18 range, 8 geared bonus damage versus cannons, so they do a very good job versus cannons. That much over here. Cannon HP I will select it for you guys. If he's gonna test, yeah, I don't think it's the best micro from SNS check, by the way, but if he's now able to test it, yeah, you see it goes down by just a few shots of these Yabusams. They're not the best versus cavalry because they're low base attack, but they are definitely very good versus cannons. Anyway, this is not the best fight for him. You should just go back. He's doing that now. This fight definitely went a lot better for Eric. I believe that, first of all, SNS Jack approached this a little bit wrong, because he had his first army group over here and the second one over there, which was engaging way too late. Also, he was very clumped up, very close together instead of spread out, and Eric still had 3 cannons available to shoot at this army, which he was doing quite nicely, targeting in the middle of it, targeting where there are a lot of units close to each other, and thus doing the most damage with their cannons. A little bit of a crochet raid coming in from the left side. I'm not sure how many villages it killed. I will check it right after. He's now trying to raid with the Yabusamis. Anyway, this is something he can definitely hold for now. He's making musketeers, but these musketeers should be tested on the crochet here, as well as the tower in the town center, because you don't want your Yumis to die here. Come on, move it a little bit. Anyway, we have 10 more Yumis now. I'm not sure if those shipment, yeah, probably. And there we have, he should be able to deal with it. But we see here, by the way, 18 damage from a skirmisher compared to 27 from a Yumi. And that really shows the kind of OPness is maybe too much because of the latest nerf in Japanese for a little bit, but it shows how ridiculously strong Japanese units are with the base economy they have there, with all the shrines, not easy to raid it. And if it's then skirmisher versus Yumis, 120 HP, 27 damage versus a little bit more HP, but a lot less damage. So he definitely, the point is that he needs either cuirassiers or cannons. And the problem is, because Japanese has such good anti-cavalry, the musketeers mainly, which also do pretty decent versus skirmishers, you kinda need to have cannons out. So I'm not sure if Eric is gonna make more cannons, but I know Eric loves cuirassiers, but he is making 5 cuirassiers, as you see over here, and then we do, of course, need the Japanese guy to make some anti-cavalry here. I'm not sure what happened to the Yabusamis, if they got caught or not. 1k coin to spam a lot more cuirassiers, and there we have a really big plumber for SNS Jack. Scores are quite close, but where is his anti-cavalry? It was about to take out villagers, but he needs to protect his Yumis. There we have other anti-cavalry coming in. This is kind of a pikeman from the Japanese guys. They do pretty well, but they should not be tested on the skirmisher. They should be tested on the cuirassiers. He's trying to micro here. I will show it to you. Low HP cuirassiers being focused fire down, and we still see that with some micro here. Look at how fast these cuirassiers still go down. And that's just craziness, and why it's so hard as French to deal with this. You make 5 cuirassiers, you would say like, okay, I'm able to kill at least half of these Yumis, but the problem is that he had a few of these Yabusamis, which I believe the cuirassiers had to kill because the skirmishers were not really going to kill them. But this Yumi attack, 27, and if you then have like 15 or 20 Yumis that he had, plus then he had 10 more coming in, you can just own cuirassiers by having a big mess. It's kind of similar to the British longbowmen. If you have like 20-30 longbowmen, as we saw for example in the games of Nature Phoenix and Spadel, when you have them in stand down position, they will fire relatively fast, longbowmen especially, they fire faster than Yumis, and they will just do a pretty good job if you focus fire, if you just make sure that you kill the cuirassiers one by one and not having them all alive with low HP. So anyway, he is now mixing in some Ashigarus as well, and this is actually where you see that Japanese is really flourishing. Eric has to go all over the map gathering food. Not only does he have a problem because there's no more food on this part of the map, also this part of the map is just shrined by the Japanese guys, meaning that he first has to kill these shrines before he has access to this food. And now we have the score advantage 20 by SNESjack, and that will probably only be more because it's going to be really hard for Eric to deal with it. Keep in mind, by the way, cuirassiers give you an option to deal with these units, but they of course might have problem versus these musketeers. As you will see here, he puts them in melee mode. That's very nice. I was about to say that if you make cannons, they will deal better with these Yumi messes, but the problem is that you have an immobile army, and that is something the Japanese can really take advantage of because of their musketeer speed, amongst other things. They are so fast that they can just go musketeer raid you everywhere, and while you have to defend them kind of with your cannons or push out and then get raided everywhere with the musketeers. He is, however, able to clean this up quite nicely with the cuirassiers because all the anti-cavalry is gone. We saw the skirmishers were doing a great job on focusing firing on the Ashigarus and even bringing in some villagers. However, this is not the end, guys. Don't think this is over. It's by far not over because the score advantage is still going to SNESjack. Also, Eric is not getting rid of these villagers. I'm not sure where he's going to. I mean, using them for a little bit is okay, but there finally we see that he's going to gather some coin. He definitely, we see there now these musketeer raids coming in. He even made a Rex over here, and how do you deal with it? Well, it is very hard. You can't fight with your villagers because it's a good trade for Japanese. You definitely need to have some skirmishers, but you can't be watching your skirmishers all the time if you have to micro somewhere else. Because let me show it again. If you would post some skirmishers over here, what you see then is that if the Ashigarus come close, they do 38 damage, so they don't care about the skirmishers. The only problem for them is if skirmishers gonna be microed and hit and run, then they will do pretty good versus Ashigaru, not in just one-on-one battle. We saw that he shipped 3 Hussars. I'm not sure if it was a misclick or why. I would rather have seen him ship Cuirassier HP card, for example, because he would definitely need more HP on the Cuirassiers to deal with all the Yumis with their great attack. So, Eric's still gathering over here. Score is still quite close because he is able to somehow clean this up here. But don't let the score deceive you. I would definitely give the advantage to a Japanese guy in this game. We probably have some more Yumis popping out here soon. Town center should be focus firing on the Cuirassier. And these musketeer raids over here, they were cleaned up in the end, I think, by the 3 Hussars and the tower, and I believe the villagers as well. So still very close. There the Cuirassier is gonna be targeted down. No cavalry yet, by the way, from a Japanese player. He's just he just sticks to Yumi and Ashigarus. Because Eric is not making any more musketeers or dragoons, I think mixing in some cavalry would be very nice. Of course, Eric can still use Cuirassiers as anti-cavalry. You can block other cavalry with your Cuirassiers, but there he's now gonna mix in musketeers versus all these Cuirassiers. But then, of course, these skirmishers are quite able to pick off these musketeers. And we see that the scores are now very similar, so let's see what happens here. He's also running out here of cherry orchard, meaning that he has to go for plantations, but anyway, he is able to somehow not, yes, clean this. No, he isn't going to be able to clean it up. There are still Cuirassiers left. That is very interesting. I think that one point to reflect on is that he just committed a little bit too far with all his Yumis without having enough anti-cavalry left, because Eric then made 5 more Cuirassiers. Early on here, of course, he lost some Yumis, but he dealt with it pretty well. But here he had definitely way too few anti-cavalry. We see here 8 skirmisher shipments from a tower, gonna be able to deal with all these cuirassiers here. And where are the skirmishers from Eric? Oh, they were killed by a tower in a town center, I suppose. 5 more cuirassiers coming up. Eric keeps spamming these cuirassiers. Anyway, town center can deal with the skirmishers for now. He definitely has to wait until he gets some Yumi archers out before he can engage his army, because when it's like even, the skirmishers can use their range and micro versus these Ashigarus, and then you don't want to fight versus that. So that's why he's going back here, as you see. Villagers in the tower should probably be... no, he can't go out yet. There you have more Yumi popping out, and now he can engage this. He has enough anti-cavalry to deal with the cuirassiers, and he has the Yumis to deal with the skirmishers, so a good moment to wait here for him. Eric is now trying to go to this gold mine, which he probably doesn't know about, that it's left, that it's dead. I mean, outmined. He is gathering some food here next to the Japanese shrines. Of course, it's a line of sight, so he will definitely lose it. There, the Yumis, bigger in number, much bigger in better in attack, will deal with these skirmishers. Of course, skirmishers have 2 more range, but it's really hard to microverse that correctly. Yumis are not slow or something. Yeah, we have 1 villager going down, and these other ones are probably gonna escape here. This one maybe not. Let's see. It is of course slowed down. Every unit in Age of Empires is slowed down while it is attacked. And here we see a major problem for any civilization that is trying to deal with Japanese. You don't have water on this map, and of course you're still French. So what do you do when you're out of resources? There's no more food available. You see here going for meals, but that's a 400 wood investment, and of course it gathers quite slow. While the Japanese all the time still not only has cheap plantations, because you can make a meal for 400 wood, but you can also make a plantation for 400 wood. While other guys, European civilizations, have to make a plantation for 800 wood. But also you see here that his shrines are still working for him. Now Eric is kind of going for probably a last fight here. He definitely has to be able to kill, has to try to kill these musketeers. That's his only option to win this army, and that's why he's bringing his villagers here again to shoot down these musketeers and to be able to give his cuirassiers a good opportunity to shoot these, to take down the Yumis. We see nice micro of Nesjak, except for this misstep here, probably a misclick, that he's trying to spread out his Yumi archers so that the area damage of the cuirassiers are not doing that much damage as they otherwise would. And there he's going to bring in some more Yamabushi. They are from the consulate, the pikemen, as mentioned before. And there again we have it. He killed all the cuirassiers, even able to make one Naginata rider, which isn't upgraded yet, by the way. I'll put a note, a disciplined Naginata. And there we have only villagers left as anti-cavalry, but of course not that many units left, so this should definitely be something that he should take advantage of. On the other hand, we have 3 cuirassiers popping in, constant fighting here, but these are definitely enough Yumis with the Yabusamis left in the town center to deal with these 3 cuirassiers. So in fact, actually I think Eric should just wait here a little bit until he gets 3 more cuirassiers and then push in. It's going to be very close though, because of course if he waits for 3 more cuirassiers, the Japanese will have more Yumis and more other anti-cavalry as well. Anyway, now he's fighting in a perfect position. The cuirassiers you see have problems pathing. Eric has to manually give them a target, and town center, not even town center, just tower and Yumis, focus firing it down. 27 damage times, what is it, like 15? So that's taking out the cuirassiers quite fast, and there we have it. Good game. Fucking Japan, yes, it is definitely very hard to deal with Japan. I think though that Eric made a little bit of a misstep, actually 2 missteps. The first, if you go for crossbow pikeman stuff, I would go for it all the way. You don't have to go all in, but definitely put on more pressure. He just didn't do enough damage, that's the main point. You sacrifice a little bit of economy, he doesn't do enough damage. Also he killed 2 buildings, a market and a consulate here I believe. But he didn't try to stop gathering here or shoot down villages, etc. Also when he was pushing out, he pushed out with actually too few units. He should have waited a little bit more, for example to let these 10 more musketeers join in, and also wait for the musketeers to upgrade to veteran musketeers. He would probably still lose the battle in his cannons, but he would be definitely able to kill off a lot more of the Japanese units instead of now when he lost all his army and Japanese had like half of his army left. Also being able to raid more with Naginata, etc, etc. And of course he had his pikemen then back because he was stopping with the rush, but he wasn't really using them effectively to, for example, take down shrines or something, because you see Eric just wasn't able to get 4 food here, deers there, 8 deers there. That's a total of 3,200 food. 30 to 100, yes, which you can't gather. Also had to walk all the way around the map. He had his villages here, he had his villages over there, he had his villages over there. All this walking time, of course, decreases his income, and thus means less units from him as well. Nonetheless, very nice game still. Back and forth. Also, as an SJack, there you see, by the way, the shrine income is just insane if you just make villages constantly as well as he's doing there. This is kind of a similar economy, but then you have the shrines, meaning that you have a lot more economy than the French guy. And of course, all this walking over the map is not beneficial for the French either. As an SJack made one misstep here, going a little bit too far without any anti-cavalry, when Eric was able to catch him with cuirassiers and villages to kill off the musketeers and then just kill a whole bunch of Yumi archers there. But in the end, Japanese came out as the victor. So that means it is currently 2-1 for SNS Jack. Okay, 2-1 for SNS Jack. We have here Eric playing French again, and now SNS Jack is gonna be Ottomans. Okay, a little bit of discussion there, but I think the main point I try to make there is, of course, if you wait for 5 more cuirassiers, then the other guy will have more units as well. But if you have 10 cuirassiers, because of they are of course a very good unit as well, maybe close to OP in this dispatch, you have so much HP, and if you charge in, then it is so much harder for someone to deal with 10 cuirassiers than it is to deal with 5 cuirassiers. That's actually the main point. That's why it's sometimes better to wait a little bit. On the other hand, of course, you can't let him make too much of an easy army as well, because then it's also going to be hard with the Yumi base attack of 27, as you saw before. So we have Eric playing French again. Oh, I should be over here. French again, and SNS Jack is now going for Ottomans. The map is New England. We are in the 4th game. It is currently 2-1 for SNS Jack. So if he is able to win this, then it means that he will advance with a 3-1 score to the next round. And maybe Eric is able to tie it up, and then we will go into the last map, which is going to be a Yukon. Eric starting with a market again, and of course Ottoman starting with a trading post. He is starting with a trading post over there, probably because he will now be able to get the first XP already. If he would, for example, went over here, then he would have missed the first XP. Also, it might indicate that he's going for some kind of base over here with either the tower and then a fortress age, or for example some kind of Abyss Gun Janissary push, which means that he's also going to be able to protect this trading post rather easy. We have to see how that plays out though. Not sure why Eric is not attacking his hero. Now he's finally doing that as he should. He has of course the extra tomahawk, and he also has the extra scout still available in case he needs to. And of course, if you can deny your opponent from any scouting, this is always a good thing, because then he doesn't know how your resources are laid out on your side of the map, and that means he doesn't know where he should be pushing on or raiding on later on. Of course, this map also has sheeps. You have to find them throughout the game, and no livestock pen here unless you make it. So you just have to wait a little bit longer for them to fully fatten to 300 food. Eric hasn't really found anything useful. I'm not sure, did he miss it? I can't believe, did he miss it in scouting? He picked up the tomahawk, but of course this is probably barely in line of sight of the trading post, I believe. But it's definitely very nice treasure. I mean, if you chase your opponent's hero all the way to his town center, you can probably assume that he will not come back for you right away. So I think you should definitely be able to pick up this treasure with his hero and tomahawk that he had. Anyway, maybe you wanted to go for scouting, and now he's picking up 70 food. That's still nice, but you should definitely try to take this later on. Also here, there's also a nice treasure. Also very nice, of course, to hurt any front base villagers from Ottomans if they're going for some kind of rush. So Ottoman is aging, he's getting a lot of wood, so he's probably going to get a second trading post soon. And then it's always a very smart decision to take a second trading post on the opposite side of the previous trading post. Because if at some point in the game your opponent is pushing in on this side, then it's quite easy for him to kill off this trading post if you just kill this one, and same for these two. But now if your opponent is pressuring on this side, you can for example go to his base. On the other hand, if he's going to take out this trading post, your army can go this way and pressure him on this side of the map. As for map balance, that seems very fair. Eric has here 2 hunts, third there. Esnezjak has 1, 2. Actually, he misses 1 hunt here. Okay, Esnezjak has 1 hunt less. Sucks a bit, but he's Ottoman, so fuck it. No, but really he has 1 hunt less, so that's... wait, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's 1 hunt less. But he's going for the third trading post even, so he's just gathering a lot of wood. Did he actually get a wood treasure? No, he did not. He ends up with 400 wood, no forward villages, so he's probably just going for some kind of trading post boom, expecting him to upgrade it to stagecoach very shortly. And even going for the 4th trading post as well. Okay, so then what can Eric do about this? Probably when you see someone going for so many trading posts, you know that there's no rush coming in. He can still go for example, Abyss Guns and Janissaries, but then a delayed push. On the other hand, he is very likely to go for Fortress Age in my opinion, or maybe some, yeah, probably Fortress. So I would just go for, probably would go for some semi-Fortress myself. But of course, the thing is, in RTS games, strategy games, you always have to scout and really find out what your opponent is doing. There he's able to take off 2 sheeps, and there he is trying to put his scout in invisible mode, I think. But he really needs to be scouting now. Not be idling over here. He needs to be scouting what his opponent is doing right now. Oh, he's doing it with the tomahawk, that's okay. 700 wood shipment being sent, so that's of course because he needs a house and he wants to upgrade this to stagecoach. And he is then probably gonna add some kind of army building. There we have the barracks, so if there's an artillery foundry coming up, we know of course it's gonna be Abyss Guns and Janissaries, and otherwise it's just gonna go for a fortress probably with 700 coin after, and a crazy lot of shipments available with 4 trading posts being upgraded to stagecoach. That's so much XP, and of course later on you can switch it to resources, and there we have the artillery foundry coming up. But Esnezjak, I mean Eric, is scouting it, so he knows that he should now be going for his second age agenda in my opinion. and just mass a lot of... Well, it's still very hard, by the way, for his Absgan Janissaries. If you really... If you really get a good mass and have good micro, then it's so hard to deal with Absgans and Janissaries in a big mass. It's like, I was talking about with HO last day, it's like this big, in StarCraft we call it like this ball of Doom ball which can just move around. At some point you just have to put your Janissaries in melee mode if there's a lot of cavalry coming close, but basically the range of the Absgans is bigger than any range of your H2 units as French, so they can just really keep poking in and going back and not overcommitting, because that's the only issue where they can fail. Anyway, you see that these 4 hussars are going to be spotted by the trading post. Of course, if you walk through this path, you know that you will get spotted. You should walk either via this here, or yeah, there's not much other space left. That's also the shitty thing here. With the trading post line, you have almost like full line of sight for anything coming in. And then of course already trading post advantage as well. You see the scout is being picked off here. That's very nice. And because Eric is of course going for the standard stuff, I didn't even check it anymore, but he is going for 700 wood standard bow thing. You will see that he is now able to pick up some of the Janissaries with the musketeers he trained on it in back of it. But as soon as the Absgans pop out, we have to see how this goes. If the Absgans shoot down the musketeers here, then yeah, you should definitely go back, because there are probably going to be new units popping out as well. Basically, there we have even Minutemen, because he was kind of scared he was going to lose it all. That would be a little bit of a waste then, because they will have low HP when there's a next battle. So Eric is now going to try to raid from the other side, but of course I'm not sure if he saw that he had 4 trading posts. Maybe if he walked like this side, but then he's very unlucky that there are trees over there. I think if he would have walked like, for example, this path here, so then he might be barely out of line of sight, but I believe that it doesn't matter that much anyway. This is probably the only track to raid from out of line of sight. Anyway, what can French do here? You can of course try to go for an age-up, but that is going to be hard. However, if you manage to age-up and defend with the units that you have, you might be able to use your third age shipments, such as Cuirassiers, to deal with him. On the other hand, he is then very likely to just mass a lot of Janissaries, or even age-up in the back from it with all the trading posts still for him. So what Eric's probably going to do is going to go for 2 Rexes, there you see it, making a lot of Musketeers and Hussars, and trying to time it out well. He's definitely going to lose a market and a house or 2, but that's something you can't avoid. And then just massing a lot of units. I hope that he scouted this, but I'm not sure. And to be able to at some point use the correct timing and micro to overwhelm this mass with musketeers, villagers, town center fire, Minutemen and 8 crossmen, and that would be like your only choice in my opinion to deal with it. So market going down, nice raids coming in there even though it was scouted. He's not using his hero. I don't like to see this, because you should always use your hero in battle. Of course you can say it's here trying to spot any raids. On the other hand, you already have a trading post, and of course your hero is 500 HP. Such a big meat shield. Very useful. So let's see what Eric is doing. He shipped 700 coin. That could be for just easy coin for a big mass, or it could be to age up. Anyway, I would like to see his town center fire be focused on the Absgans, because they really are the biggest problem for you to deal with now. And I think he is doing so, but he should not be going in right now. He should not be going in. There is already losing 1 musketeer. To just give you an example here, 40 siege damage times 1.5 is 60 siege damage. Of course, since the siege damage, it means the units have no resistance, so it means in 3 shots your musketeer dies. Anyway, some Janissaries being used now in a defensive to defend first these raids. Let me quickly check what the villager count is. He killed off 2 villages, very nice. But we see that he was already setting the trading post now to resources, and that means that even Ottomans is now being able to have kind of the same, resource income, same resource as the French, and that is never a position you want to be in. Also, why are you in the hell gathering on berries while you have food around? He must have done the steel traps upgrade, so you should just gather food here, because it's going much faster than berries. I'm not sure why he did this here. Anyway, when you have both similar income, which is the case now, you have still the problem of the other guy having the best unit, the OP Absgan, and there you have to find a way to deal with it. Also, still not sure, he must have scouted this mine by now, because this is very, he has to be very careful about this mine. As we see now, he is trying to just take off some shots with his cuirassiers. He hasn't upgraded the attack yet, he might do at some point. And he's now even shipping the two boats here to have a point to fall back to. So there are 2 villagers trying to shoot here again. I expect him to ship 8 crossbowmen anytime soon. He has very few hussars, by the way. That's really interesting. And he should pop Minutemen as well. He popped out Minutemen, but he's not gonna able to catch it really well, this army. It's moving back very nicely here. He is still microing pretty decent, but these are not shooting over there. He's still doing a good job here, because this unit, this is the main problem for Ottomans. He should be microing back as he's doing now. If you stay too long, the ambush gun is not as strong anymore, because you can task all these musketeers with still a good base damage on these ambush guns. Why you can win this is because you have such a strong A-ball that you can just A-move and move back. But as soon as you stay too long here, you risk losing it. Anyway, he still has enough ambush guns left, and the ships he can fall back to. Eric has not shipped any ships yet. Of course, it's going to be very hard to deal with it anyway, because the ambush gun's going to go gonna target the ship, and also he can't really push in this without his ships. He hasn't shipped 8 crossbowmen, so maybe he will ship his ships later. But then he of course needs to put his flag over here. He managed to hold this off for now, shipping 3 hussars as well. He is a lot behind on scores though, and he should definitely be trying to move these villages on this side of the gold mine rather than on this side of the gold mine. And this is something I don't really like. If he goes for a raid like this, it's like, you can't just do that. You have to raid, for example, with 3 or 4 hussars, but if you raid with every hussar, what he's gonna do is pop in here. You have nothing to deal with the ambush guns. He's gonna kill 1, 2 houses, maybe even a Rex, and you're probably not gonna get so much more damage done with 2, 4, 6, 8 hussars than you would have done with, like, let's say 3 or 4 hussars. As you see now, he's pushing in, but still decided to go back still. Eric, oh my god, very, very unfortunate. He shipped his ships, but I'm not sure if it was a bug or anything. He only got 1 ship out. His flag doesn't seem too close to the coast, but he's only able to get out 1 ship instead of 2 ships, and that is a very, very decisive move. Very unfortunate here. Very, very, very shit. I don't know how this bug exactly works, because to me it seems that this flag is far enough from the coast, from the coastlines here, so that it would mean that there should be able to 2 ships should be able to spawn there, I would say. Anyway, such a bug is just something that has to be fixed. It is just so unfortunate. Anyway, Villager's not having an attack upgrade yet. He should definitely wait before attacking until his cavalry is back. And he's making a tower over there. I'm not sure what the use of that is, because then the boats can just go to the other side. Anyway, trying to target fire the ambush guns I see here. That's very nice. And he is still raiding pretty actively here. But now 3 hussars are shipped by SNSJack. I believe they came from this boat, I'm not sure. I don't know if you can ship to it, I think you can, I'm not sure. Anyway, good for a raid here, and he's gonna able to take down the house and the tower maybe even. Meanwhile, he's still raiding over there, Eric it is, and he killed... Yeah, they both have the same village count, but Ottomans have still has the 4 trading posts. He's trying to go for a raid, but Eric manages to catch it. Where are the 8 crossbowmen? Are they not in his deck, or...? Okay. He is definitely trying to go for it now, but he should be target firing the ambush guns then with his villages as well, because you won't be able to take out all the Janissaries. And then we finally have the 8 crossbowmen, but no towns in the fire, of course, because other villages are shooting already. And the hussars are probably all killed there by the Janissaries. And I'm afraid that is going to be the end indeed, and there Eric resigns, and a good game. That means it's a 3-1 victory for SNSJack. Let's see how the bets turn out. I think I bet on a 3-2 for either one, so that's not going to be a good bet, not going to be a good trade for me. But this game, to conclude, yeah, 4 trading posts is just very hard to deal with. You could say, okay, maybe I age up fast and have the better units out then from a 3rd age like cannons and skirmishers to deal with it, because you invest in trading post line that takes some time. On the other hand, it is not that much of a delay, because the Ottomans also of course ages up very fast, and he's still pretty able to mass a lot of units fast, because he gets so much XP and does so much many shipments. I think that Eric should have popped out these 8 crossbowmen earlier, or the 2 ships earlier. The 2 ships is probably hard to say because I think he did not expect the ships to be there until he was really fighting over there. And it's of course very unfortunate for him that he was not able to ship 2 ships, and because it bugged out, and then had only 1 ship to fight it off. But if he had, at this fight over here, if he had 8 crossbowmen more, I think he would have done a much better job in fighting there. So it's like I said before, if you want to take out this huge ball of really OP ball of units, Janissaries so much HP, Abyss guns with the huge attack, you should have an overwhelming mass, and that means that you should fight in a position that's good for you, not where you're stuck near your own gold mine. Also, you should be trying to catch it with the villagers, the crossbowmen, and the minutemen all at the same time. Anyway, as Nesjack won it 3-1, congratulations to him. So he will move on to the next round.